All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome into the Tuesday edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we will be diving into the crypto gaming markets and the NFT space today. As always, as I have some strategies to prepare for an upcoming bridge to a new chain for one of the top DeFi gamified projects in the space, and we'll talk about that later in the video. But we have a lot to cover as far as news, some projects raising some serious funds, some major noise as well still going on in the Avalanche ecosystem, with a lot of projects out at South by Southwest, with the Avalanche Summit next week, with a lot of these subnets launching. We will take a look at a lot of the different developments in the space, and I'll give you a rundown of my strategy, how I'm preparing for the DeFi Kingdom's Crystal Veil expansion. So without further ado, let's get in the game.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's Crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know we gon' play, but ain't a mistake. If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's Crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know we gon' play, but ain't here to play. If you get lost, show you the way.
All right, let's get right into it with some NFT news. And we see the main Solana NFT marketplace, Magic Eden. So Magic Eden is kind of, think of it as the OpenSea of Solana, so to speak. They secured a $27 million Series A round here, obviously. A major pull for Magic Eden. And we see here investors including Sequoia Capital, Electric Capital, as well as Variant Fund and Solana Ventures themselves. So it's the Solana-based NFT marketplace with the $27 million raise. Very bullish for obviously an ecosystem that, although they're very up there in the NFT volume, right? Ethereum dominates the NFT chain, but very bullish development for Magic Eden, the dominant marketplace on Solana. We also see daily fantasy sports and, I would just say sports conglomerate out there. DraftKings is launching its first NFT collection around March Madness basketball in a Web3 push, which definitely could make some sense. And this could definitely parlay its way into, no pun intended, parlay with DraftKings, but this could definitely parlay into a play to earn or a daily fantasy crypto ecosystem, so to speak, down the line, right? Where you could actually maybe enter with cryptocurrency, a DraftKings token. That would definitely be pretty unique, bringing daily fantasy sports potentially to the Web3 space, right? So with March Madness, they will bring their first NFT collection to the Web3 space. Very interesting, I would say, right? Because, we've seen a lot of different appeals across the space and a lot of different marketplace and niches, and the gambling marketplace and competition, March Madness brackets. You know how many people around the world fill out March Madness brackets? So this could be absolutely massive. Keep your eyes on what DraftKings is doing in the space. And on another note, we see NFT collection and upcoming play to earn game Crypto Unicorns. Also, on top of what Magic Eden just raised, we see Crypto Unicorns, which is on Polygon. They raised a $26 million token sale from investors. And I mean, the interest here is definitely major. As we see here, they were backed by Delphi Digital, Bitcraft Ventures, Coin Fund, Polygon Studios. So they're definitely getting some major backing here. If you don't know, this game looks very quality. It has the cartoony, kind of a graphic appeal of an Axie Infinity that really caught on to a lot of people around the world, right? And this is a game that when you sit in on like an AMA for Crypto Unicorns, there's people who say, my daughter would play this on their iPad, or this is something my kid could play and not even know it's a crypto game, for example. So you can hatch and evolve your unicorns. There's land plots. There's different rarities. There's mythic, rare, and common plots. You can do obviously different things with your land plots. There's different games within the ecosystem, such as unicorn racing, jousting, etc. So very good raise here from Crypto Unicorns. And this game has been getting a lot of that interest, right, from all over a lot of capital, a lot of interest from play to earn veterans, I would say, are coming into this game and are very interested. And with Bitcraft and Delphi leading this round, definitely something to keep your eyes on. Another project on Polygon to keep the blockchains all together in this video, because a lot of it will be focused on Avalanche at the majority, the back half of this video. We see one of my favorite projects, honestly, on the Polygon blockchain, which is Crypto Raiders, which right now their play to earns, they've kind of worked backwards, which I really enjoy. They've built a game and a community and a group of people in their ecosystem and players and participants who are actually currently playing. Like, they're currently playing these games, and the earning system actually isn't completely built out yet. So what the team here at Crypto Raiders have done is actually pretty brilliant, because they've built it from the backwards forwards, as far as they have the game completely out right now for the most part, and then they will integrate the earning system, but they're kind of taking notes from across the space to kind of what not to do, right? We see a lot of tokenomics models fail, and we see a lot of models really just kind of have their problems over time. And as we see here, Crypto Raiders are running a $20,000 event for power leveling. Each players have 200 runs for dungeons. So this is a dungeon crawler style game, and you'll have 1 to 2 weeks to get max level and participate in the tournament. Good luck to all involved. And this thread right here, I thought was very good by 50 Sat. So Crypto Raiders is an NFT dungeon crawler game. So you can explore dungeons, fight monsters, and look for rare items. There are 2 different character classes. You can either have a raider, or aka just like a character in the game where you do the crypto raids, etc. And also you can have a mob, aka a monster. And as you see here, there's 4 different classes, or there's actually 10 generations of characters. There's different classes of different races of characters as well. The characters at this moment all yield different rewards, different XP levels. They can all level up to certain amounts in the game. You can improve your character's stats from strength, intelligence, and agility and stuff like that. I have a couple of raiders. I picked up a monster as well, because these can also battle against raiders in the background. And whenever your monster kills someone, they will be able to earn Aurum, which is one of the tokens in the ecosystem. So check out this thread. I think it's really, really good information top to bottom about the ecosystem. And this is a game I really, really enjoy already, just from the surface level. And right now, the earning system isn't already built out. Like, the ecosystem is building from really like I said, the backwards forward. And I really like the way that they're going about things. A very, very bullish development that I'm looking forward to hearing on the 18th. So later this week, Mobland, formerly Sin City. We talked to Roy Liu here on the show previously, and he told us about a lot of this stuff right here. So on the 18th, they'll be talking about a lot of stuff on this AMA, such as the Mobland business licenses, product update, beta launch, and turf stuff. So we all know turf is a part of the ecosystem. This is going to be insane, in my opinion. I'm excited to hear developments about the business licenses. I'm excited to see the beta launch information, as well as whatever they're going to talk about the turf. I mean, this game, obviously, we know looks like the Grand Theft Auto and the Saints Row of Web3. And I'm just so excited about this game. And more news, the reveal of the Binance NFT collection is also on the 21st, which is 6 days from now. So a lot around the corner from Mobland. And another one of my top projects around the corner, big time. I actually had the privilege to get a glimpse of their private demo last night, as I detailed on my Twitter last night. Saw a glimpse of the private demo of what they are building at big time. And I was blown away. Like, literally, the development that they have done, the intricacies in the game, it was absolutely amazing. And I cannot wait for them to push out more. And that's really all I can say on that. I'm blown away from the level of detail top to bottom, as I say here in the tweet. So big time, looked amazing. I thank the guys for showing me that private demo, and I can't wait to see more developments as they roll it out, because I think it will be one of those games that, as we talked about yesterday, that will shift the narrative from these tokenized earnings that just dump over time to a model where you actually progress through the game and you earn. It's going to be a completely shifting narrative, and I can't wait for it. And let's take a look at the kind of the most upcoming, like I mentioned, the hottest narrative right now, as far as the blockchain picking up the most sentiment in gaming right now. That's Avalanche. And as we see here, Kevin from Avalanche is saying, Avalanche ecosystem is an absolute unit of an iceberg right now, and only a tip of it is public. So much is happening in stealth mode on not only DeFi, but gaming NFTs, major partnerships and projects jumping over in mass, you name it. So we all know they recently just announced the project Shrapnel, which we'll talk about in a second. They all have, the developments they have right now with Crabada. Crabada is the idle play to earn game where you can either go on mining expeditions or you can actively loot against miners and actually steal their rewards and go for attacking rewards, which actually is more rewarding than the mining game, but you have to be a lot more active, for example. So Crabada is the king of Avalanche gaming at this moment, as we see here on SpinTop, the official gaming index of the show. Very good place to just source out information on games and get just everything in one place. If you really just want a brief overview of a bunch of games in an ecosystem, this is definitely a great place to do it. And as we see here, this game is just honestly continuing its momentum like no other. We see 4,700 daily active users, a 7% increase in the last 7 days, as well as 570 active users in the marketplace daily, which is a 27% increase. And not only that, guys, you might say 568. It sounds like these low numbers to some people who just like think that they should have so much more marketplace participation or whatever people's conceptuals are. Let's take a look at the volume. Let's take a look at the volume in this economy, guys. We see the NFT sales for Crabada. This was on the 14th, on the 24-hour. We see it literally competing with the likes of Meebits, Doodles, Mutant Ape Yacht Clubs, Bored Ape Yacht Club. So I just don't understand. This game right here has the most steam in the blockchain, hands down. And there's a reason for it. People are earning insane APRs and APYs in this game. I mean, you can literally get a crab team for the floor right now, which is between, if you want a good team, $5,000 to $6,000, as it says here, 5,000 plus. Buy 3 crabs and miner loot for up to 1,500% APR. And I can personally say, like, you can pay off your crabs. The ROI guides we've gone through on this channel multiple times. Your investment for crabs can be paid off between 55 and 80 days at this point. And that's been sustainable for a while. This has been by far their entirety of the time that they've been active. It's been the most sustainable economy to this point. So shout out to Crabada and shout out to the Avalanche ecosystem, which is really also backing Crabada, right? Avalanche puts all their chips in these projects. They recently endorsed Shrapnel, which is a AAA FPS game that is coming to Avalanche. This will build on Avalanche with also their own subnet, which is the same thing that Crabada is doing. They're going to have their own blockchain using their earnings token as the gas token, which is a very good mechanic to keep some buy pressure on the earnings token in the ecosystem. We see Shrapnel out at South by Southwest, and we see games will lead the way for how NFTs are used effectively and legitimately. What about Pegaxi? I talked about Pegaxi in yesterday's show very extensively. Thank you for attending the State of Business and Blockchain and Gaming panel yesterday. And this is at South by Southwest. This is Shrapnel, AAA FPS, building on Avalanche. And as we see next week, not only with South by Southwest this week, we see Avalanche Summit coming up next week. I do expect on the heels of this Avalanche Gaming Fund of $290 million, I definitely expect a lot of GameFi development at the summit, a lot of networking to take place, right? We see Lost Worlds NFT, an Avalanche NFT project, which is a geolocation-based NFT experience. Very interesting and unique project. They're doing a partnership with 34 of the top projects on Avalanche, including Crabada, Pangolin, Avalanche, Tailcraft. You see Trader Joe, Crabada, which is the Crabada DAO, which is not affiliated, but they do pay rewards to holders of their NFT pass for the teams that they acquire through the DAO. AVAX Stars. So there's a bunch of these top Avalanche projects participating in the Lost Worlds NFT experience. And as we see here, Lost Worlds is the first of its kind NFT platform where NFTs are geographically bound to real world locations for collectors to discover, mint, and achieve rewards. Very, very interesting. Geolocation-based minting, bounty-based minting, event-based NFTs, GameFi builder. So this will be an Avalanche project here as we see Blockchain Avalanche backed by Maven Capital. So this looks very, very interesting. I'll be looking forward to seeing more from the Avalanche Summit and the developments that come out of that from this project. As well, we see Crabada, which we were just talking about, hosting the Crabalanche event, which is calling for game developers. And this is calling for people to potentially build on their subnet, which is the Swimmer network, which is going to power the game. They will be moving basically from Avalanche being the gas token to the TUS token being the gas token, which is very, very bullish for the ecosystem long term. And let's talk about another project that is doing the exact same thing with the exact same blockchain, and that is DeFi Kingdoms. So DeFi Kingdoms sees the success. They see the success that projects are having on Avalanche, just like Crabada. And honestly, the gas fees recently have been pretty brutal on Avalanche for retrospect. I mean, if you deal in Ethereum, it's nothing, which, you know, I do my fair share of Ethereum, but for retrospect, like recently, Avalanche gas has been going up. So these subnets will really help these projects, and these projects do tons of volume, right? Avalanche, Crabada is the number 2 application on Avalanche. DeFi Kingdoms is the number 1 application and has dominance over the chain. It has a 41% dominance over the Harmony chain. DeFi Kingdoms dominance, 41.92%. And this is on the heels of them announcing the DFK chain, which is a part of their Crystal Veil expansion over to none other than the Avalanche network. The DFK chain will be the home of the previously announced Crystal Veil expansion on their very own blockchain that will use the governance token, Jewel, as the gas token, similarly to the blockchain that Crabada is rolling out, the subnet for the Swimmer network that will use the utility token as gas. Jewel will now be used for gas, and that means that we can control better gas prices. And this transaction volume, instead of, and you know, this is not taking like the layer 1 capability is amazing, but bringing all their own volume onto their own subnets could potentially be amazing for these ecosystems to function completely on their own, right? On a self-functioning subnet backed by a quality L1 project like Avalanche. I think it's a no-brainer. And then they can integrate their own tokens as the gas token. And this is going to be MetaMask compatible. I can get on the testnet for the Crabada testnet right now and try it out, for example. And you can link it up with your MetaMask, boom, boom. So this will be MetaMask compatible. It will be very easy to use, and their governance token will be used as the gas token. And you can see more info in the general state of DeFi Kingdoms here on SpinTop. And if you don't know, this is the biggest DEX on Harmony. So here's the ticker points for DeFi Kingdoms at this point. DeFi Kingdoms is the biggest decentralized exchange on the Harmony blockchain. It is also one of the best DeFi platforms on the Harmony blockchain, with yield farming pools around Jewel AVAX, Jewel Harmony 1, Jewel Luna, Jewel Phantom, any of these tokens you could imagine that you could LP pair together and get yield farming. So if you watch Miles' show, if you're into DeFi farming, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll show you what the game looks like and why this is a game, right? Right now, it is just gamified DeFi, but there's a heroes aspect here where you enlist your heroes, defend your gardens, and unlock locked farming tokens faster. Well, there's going to be a player versus player mode that comes up in the future. You can also single-sided stake your money. If you don't want to deal with impermanent loss, potentially, you can single-sided stake your jewel. And here's what the game looks like right now, right? You load into DeFi Kingdoms, and this is what you're welcomed with, right? You see the marketplace, the tavern where you would go to take a look at heroes, for example. So you would buy heroes here. If you wanted to take place in the hero gameplay, we'll go back to the map. If you want to trade your tokens, here's the trader. If you want to pair your liquidity, here's the druid. If you want to sell items that you earn from your quests, for example, you can go to the vendor, and then there's the stylist here. Let's go over to the gardens, and this is where you would see your LP pools, right? The seed box is where you would see your 200% right here, your APRs on all these different pools. And as you see, they have so many different pools, guys. Jewel Stablecoin, Jewel UST. And I just went ahead and compounded my pools this morning. So as you can see here, I am taking place in a couple of these, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. I want to go over my strategy leading up to the Crystal Veil expansion. And we see here DeFi Kingdoms Crystal Veil teasers. So we see the interface now. So I'll back out of this, and we will go to the map. So this is what the overview of the game looks like, right? So this is the current overview of what you load into. On the Harmony One experience of DeFi Kingdoms. This is the type of art and the type of experience you will be experiencing on the Crystal Veil. I love this snake around the tree. This art looks amazing. And let's go down to the next one in the thread. Who knows what this is? You know, we don't know what areas these are. These are just teaser screenshots. And then this either looks to be like the castle or the bank or, you know, something like that. Maybe the bank, because you see there's crystals in the corner here in the bag, or it's the castle, or it's, you know, all these little teasers. It looks very, very sharp. And I can't wait to check out this realm as opposed to the Harmony One realm. So a very big expansion on the way as they bridge their own chain. And you're going to see all new characters, the DeFi Kingdoms Druid Ulfer and the Ice Gardens. So the gardens where you're going to farm your LP in DeFi Kingdoms Crystal Veil is going to be called the Ice Gardens. So let's go over the different ways you can participate in this economy. And I'll talk about what I do along the way. So the first, what I would recommend, if you're just getting started in DeFi Kingdoms, or if you are in DeFi in general, this is the place for you, the gardens, right? This is where you pair your liquidity, you stake your tokens, and you are able to earn jewel rewards. And right now in the Serendale Gardens, which are the jewel gardens, you're able to earn jewel. When we go over to Crystal Veil, you'll actually be earning the crystal tokens. So that's going to be absolutely awesome. And basically, it's straightforward. It's DeFi. You pair your liquidity and you put it into the pools. And let's take a look at the ROI that you could, the order of which over the last couple of months, you would have stacked the most tokens. Gardening 50% Luna plus 50% others and Jewel would have been the best garden result. Gardening any Jewel with AVAX, Phantom 1, or hodling any of those L1s, the least amount of rewards over the last couple of months would have just been staking Jewel straight up. And this is also including the fact that Luna has been on an absolute tear. So take out the hodl things in here where it says hodl Luna, because that's just inserting the fact that Luna's going crazy. But if you are participating in these gardens, the Jewel Luna, Jewel AVAX, Jewel Phantom, and Jewel 1 pools have proven to be the most profitable over time. And then the Jeweler, which is the bank, so the Jeweler, we didn't go into the Jeweler. This is the bank. This is where you would single-sided stake your jewel. So if you don't want to deal with impermanent loss, if you think that impermanent loss has killed you in the past, or if you've had a bad experience, you can get no impermanent loss, right? You single-sided stake the Jewel token in the bank and you get Jewel tokens based on the fees going on within the ecosystem, for example. So that is where you can single-sided stake your tokens, and that's through the Jeweler here. So it's very straightforward, single-sided staking. You just lock up your contract and a stake, and you earn passively. Just let it sit there, let it compound whenever it's necessary. It compounds itself in DeFi Kingdom. So in the Jeweler, you actually do not have to worry. But in the Gardens, you obviously have to manually compound it. And there is a lockup period. I would at least let your money compound for 5 days before you compound it every single time if you're playing the Gardens. And then the last key element here, and why does this fall under the element of crypto gaming? I'm talking about staking. I'm talking about liquidity pools. Well, they do have the hero gameplay, and the hero gameplay right now is pretty basic. You send them on pretty passive missions. You can have classes such as fishermen, gardeners, mining, different sorts of specialties, so to speak. Like I myself, I have 2 heroes. One is a gardener, one is a fisherman. And I just do a couple of quests per day, and you earn rewards. You earn a little bit of jewel token here and there based on your specialty, and you level up your heroes. You can also breed your heroes, so to speak, in the summoning process. So there is kind of like a breeding mechanism. You can upgrade the stats of your heroes. And I love this because the player versus player mode is around the way, guys. So this will be a game. This is being built out. Heroes will be able to participate in 3 versus 3 combat against other players for fun and to compete in wager matches. Additionally, periodic tournaments will be held that reward winning teams from the quest fund. And as you see, maximize your stats and take your rightful place as world champion. Player versus player is still in development. So this is what a lot of people are looking forward to after the Avalanche expansion. And just to kind of give you a retrospect, the Jewel token is basically the governance token of the economy. The upcoming new token is going to be the Crystal token. So with the expansion of DeFi Kingdoms into the DFK chain, a new token to power that realm is necessary. And that's going to be the Crystal token. It will participate as the same function that Jewel does, just within the Crystal Veil economy. It can be spent to mint, purchase heroes, swapped on the DEX, staked, all that good stuff. So it's the exact same functionality as Jewel, but it's just the native token on the Avalanche ecosystem on the DFK blockchain, which I absolutely love. So let's just kind of go back here. So what is my strategy leading up to the 30th? So on the 30th, Crystal Veil goes live, and that is the bridge over to Avalanche. And in my opinion, if you've been participating in DeFi Kingdoms or you are looking to, this is the time to try to farm as many of those tokens as possible leading up to the event, so you can begin from day one on those new pools, the new stake pools, when they put the new liquidity pools, when you're farming Crystal AVAX, Crystal One, Crystal Harmony, or Crystal Luna, for example. When you're able to LP Crystal with other tokens, those fresh liquidity pools on a new blockchain are going to be very, very fruitful. In DeFi, the rewards at the very beginning are the most lucrative, guys. You're going to get those 1,000% returns potentially if you get in immediately. And there will be a major demand, right? We don't know what the DeFi yields will be day one on the new Crystal Veil yields whenever those do debut. But what we do know is in DeFi, the less saturated the pools, the more rewards. And when a brand new yield farm opens on the Crystal Veil network, I will be looking to take advantage of those brand new yields as soon as possible. So right now, I just went ahead and put it in a little spreadsheet, and I'll guess I'll zoom it in here because it doesn't look like it's too visible. And we'll go. So this should be okay. So as we see here in the gardens, I have Jewel 1. So my logic here is I'm farming Jewel 1 for about 240% APR. And if you compound it, it goes up from there. But it's the native token of the blockchain currently. So Jewel lives on Harmony. So they run together. DeFi Kingdoms dominates the Harmony chain. So this is my logic there. It's a very safe pool to be in my opinion. It yields over 200% rewards, not a ton of impermanent loss, and DFK drives the Harmony volume. So no brainer. I think that if you're in the gardens, this is definitely one you should be in, Jewel 1. On top of that, I have been farming in the Jewel AVAX pool because they are expanding to Avalanche. I thought that was a no-brainer. And I was doing that before they announced their own blockchain, which I didn't expect their own blockchain. I just kind of figured they would be on Avalanche. But the subnet announcement came at the perfect time, and they are literally the leader of the announcement in that announcement, along with Crabada. So very good for DeFi Kingdoms. So the other one I am in is Jewel AVAX here with the expansion to Avalanche on the way. This is about 170%. This is a pretty saturated pool at this point. So I will be yielding this out until the end of the month before I pivot to the Crystal Veil pools whenever those do open. But with the expansion to AVAX, I am farming in this pool. And as detailed in the ROI report for the garden, the Jewel Luna has actually returned the most. We all know because Luna has gone on an absolute tear. So as detailed in the tweet that we showed, Luna has been the best performing garden. So I do have my smallest garden there. So we're not chasing rainbows, but I do have a little bit of stake there with some of my Luna holds because why not? And as we see, heroes gameplay is another way to earn in this economy. And leveling up your heroes will prove very, very fruitful down the line. What I do, I have two heroes, as mentioned. I have gardening and fisherman. So my two heroes, I send them on a mission or two per day. So I'm more about the farming, the DeFi aspect of this economy. I am leveling up my heroes. And at this point, I have a gardener and a fisherman. I send them on a couple of quests per day. It only takes a couple of minutes, takes a couple of hours to reboost their stamina to send them back out on another mission. But I do think that leveling up your heroes will prove very fruitful whenever the hero gameplay goes live. And then if you do just have a ton of Jewel tokens and you don't want to have impermanent loss, put them in the bank. You have single-sided staking. You're able to earn rewards off of staking rewards from the ecosystem. And then you're actually able to not have the downside of if one token goes way up, then your tokens aren't rebalancing so much where you're actually having impermanent loss. Hustle, how do you play all these games? Okay, so luckily, at this point in time, I'm not actively using a controller in all these games. I'm not having to sit here for hours and hours a day and do all these things. I'll set aside an hour every few hours and just kind of, take care of everything, because my emphasis in this whole thing, and we'll call it a show after this, is it's been, the sentiment's all over the place recently. Long term, bet on good projects, bet on people, bet on track records of success, and bet on people who are passionate and proactive. Don't only research what's working now, what's next. Become an innovator, add value, and educate. This is Web3. But the more important tweet on this thread here, what it's become for me is a compound interest machine. So in this thread right here, I detailed on my Twitter kind of how I've put together all these economies. There's all this FUD. The VIS token price has gone down, all this stuff. If you play your cards right, since the last bull market, I mentioned how I've scaled up my in-game assets tenfold, some generating up to 1,500% APY, aka Crabada. What people lack is a strategy, guys. This is not free money. This is not free money. You can't enter a game expecting to get paid out every single match, every single game, just for playing. That's handing out participation trophies, right? So eventually that narrative will change. Have a strategy when you enter a game. Try to judge where the economy is. Try to have a game plan. If you think the best businesses in the world, as I say here, were built without a game plan, without a strategy. And yes, your money needs to be treated like a business, by the way. That is your capital. If you allocate your crypto funds, your play to earn funds, your NFT funds, whatever your buckets are and whatever your baskets are, as I spoke about yesterday, find your basket and capitalize on it. And just because it says crypto gaming, this is not a game when it comes to your money, putting it into these games. So have a plan, have a strategy, select good projects, and place long and short-term bets. Place long and short-term bets. When I entered Pegaxi in December, I was making a plan to be in this economy for the long haul. I've been in from the initials, from the upswings, and I'm still in, and I have no problem. Like, I've made plenty, and I've turned it into this play to earn cash flow machine, which I'm trying to give you all the keys and the tools to try to do the same and spot the same trends on these upcoming games and these fresh economies that are yielding returns that the market simply isn't. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Like the video, subscribe for more daily in the game videos here on Crypto Banter. I believe the next show will be Miles' DeFi show here in about, 12 or so hours. I don't know exactly the time, but check that out and all the other shows here on the channel. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow. Play well, my friends. Check on my dancing crabs now. Oh, put me back on now. I'm going to go check on my dancing crabs. Hang on a minute.